You're listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hayner.
This is Zoom the TBT of Charge and Hayner, and we are continuing our preview run. We got a little short, quick, nasty one tonight about the Queen City, the Xavier Regional preview. And our guest tonight, Dillon Reppart, the GM of the Bucketneers, the ETSU alums. Dillon, how you doing tonight?
What's going on, Hannah? Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you, too. Last time I saw you, you were having a few drinks in Charleston, so hopefully, I don't know if you got a beer in your hand. I got one in my hand.
I just finished at the casino, my man, but I'm behaving right now.
How'd you do? Did you leave up? Did you leave down? How'd it work?
I'd rather not talk about it. I think that says enough about how the night went. We won't discuss what happened at the casino.
What happens at the Hard Rock stays at the Hard Rock. Now you're based in Johnson City, right?
What's that?
You're based by the campus still, right?
Yes. Yeah, I'm 15 minutes from the campus where I live right now.
Well, there you go. We can just a couple Tennessee guys chatting. That's all we are tonight. The West Tennessee, East Tennessee. That's what we got tonight. Okay, so let's get right into this. We won't waste your time because you have to earn some money to go gamble again sometime. Right. Pretty interesting bracket, actually. And there's a lot of good storylines here. You have last year's darlings, the upstart program for autism. They were the Autism Army last year against the long-standing 8 seed DRC, which is Dominic Rogers-Cromartie's team. Your own 4 seed ETSU alum, the Buccaneers, against a very feisty 5 seed, the Fort Wayne champs. No gift in that seeding. The money team is a 3 facing the unofficial co-host, the Nasty Natty, the Cincinnati alums. And of course, your host is the 2 seed, Zip 'em Up, playing the Beasley tournament winners, qualification through him getting them in as the Georgia Kings. Before we get too deep into this, we're talking about the cut line of talent. And again, no disrespect, every TBT team is good. You get in, you're dangerous. Let's get that out of the way. But there seems to be a slight drop at the 5 or 6 line. So you really, if you just got one more seed line, you might have a slightly easier game. Is this a tough matchup for you in the first round?
It absolutely is. And, we've always been a team the past 2 summers as well. This first game is always the most important. And I would have to say this is probably the most talented team we played in the first round the past 2 summers. So they're an incredible team. They've been here many times before, and they've got some studs on their team.
What's interesting about this bracket, too, is it's one of the lower alumni counts. There's only 3 alumni teams here, yourselves, Cincy, and Xavier's alum, the Zip 'em Up. So it's interesting to see that there's so many strong non-alumni teams, which kind of makes the seeding a little wonky here. This will be a lot of fun, though. We'll see if some things can repeat. Let's get right into this. We got the first round matchup, the Program for Autism versus DRC as the 8 seed. I had the privilege of watching the Autism Army last year at Rucker. I'm based in New York, even though we're both Tennessee guys. I live here now. So I got Rucker's just a short train ride from Brooklyn, short being, an hour and 15 minutes. That's besides the point. But they were really good on the blacktop out there at Rucker, and they were able to ride that all the way to the final. Funny story. I was at every game they won last year. So I was actually in Dayton as well. So they were 5-0 with me. I couldn't make the final, and they lost. So I heard. So already, Delroy's like, "Where are you? Why are you not coming to Xavier?"
Well, if we see him in the second round, you stay home. Stay home.
Exactly. Well, no, my travel plans are already done. I will not. If I see any of you guys, it'll be in Philadelphia. I will not be able to make Cincinnati. So, have you started thinking about this team at all, or is it just one time at a time? Can't even get there yet, right?
Me, obviously, as an addict to the whole TBT tournament, I've definitely looked over this, watched a lot of their games, but our coaches are solely focused on round 1. Fort Worth, they're plenty good enough. They're plenty to worry about. We're not looking into game 2 yet, but me on the outside looking in, I definitely have very solid team. I'd have to say they might have had the easiest region last year in Rucker. I might be a little biased, but what they did do is they brought it to the hardwood as well. So I think they kind of proved that point too. But no, they're really good, and if we see them in the second round, that's going to be another dogfight.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing they're missing this year is Chris Wright left them. No bad blood, just he wanted to play with his alum team because the new Dogtown, which is the Georgetown alum, are featuring Chris Wright at the guard. So it's interesting because Delroy James, it's funny, when I met him last year, because he's a mammoth small forward. And I said, star center. He goes, no, stop. Restart that tape. Star small forward. I'm like, okay, yes, sir. Yeah. And they've been a guest on the show. Delroy is great. They're a really high-quality team. So they're a deserving 1 seed, but you have to wonder if they'll be able to keep lightning in a bottle like they did last year, because as good as they are, they're a very good squad. That run felt magical. It might be tough to repeat that. But we'll see. I mean, especially in such a loaded region. Now, DRC, which is interesting, is a squad that has been in this multiple years. In fact, the first time I covered TBT, I saw DRC play in Richmond, actually, in 2018. They actually beat my Memphis team pretty badly, in fact. They were up pretty hard, and the last shot that Elam Ender was by one of our own, Darius Washington, which is always nice to lose to one of your own alums for an alum team. That's always a fantastic feeling. So pretty talented team. But the thing about them is having them as an 8 seed, they've won 4 times in TBT, which is a high number, so they can do it. But this is not a great bargain for DRC, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, they've got one of the tougher draws in the tournament. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a tough first round game. I really do think the perimeter fraud system finds a way to win this game, but that just sets us up for the main event, which is you guys versus the Fort Wayne champs. Now let's get into your roster a bit. Let's just go ahead and do the elephant in the room. We talked about it off camera. One of your best players is not playing for you guys this year. Deshaun Bradford is actually playing for the Jackson Tennessee Underdogs this year. How'd that come about, and where will it be sitting up in 2024, hopefully?
Yeah, no, DeSante, coming off our last summer run, he definitely was all in for us for this year. But he's from there. He's from Jackson area, and he's got family there. And, Jalen Barford and him are 2 incredible dudes and 2 really big names in the TBT. And I think they both kind of came together and said, let's give it a try one summer because, DeSante it was really tough for him to let us know that he wasn't going to come back with us. But of course, he said, next summer I'm there. This is a one summer thing. But it's all love. DeSante, a lot of our guys and the core group have grown with DeSante and known him forever. So we knew it was all out of love. And we definitely going to be rooting for him. If we're not going to root for ourselves, we're definitely going to root for him and even Tevin Glass is playing with him as well. So it's all love. But no, DeSante kind of let us know he wasn't going to be with us this summer, and it's next man up, and that's kind of the mentality we've always had, and it's next man up.
And you did actually do a good job of recruiting around him because it seems like you actually are preset the guard spots. I really love the Jalen Riley. Obviously, he's a great player. He plays in Estonia, the league that made Marcus Keene pretty famous, and you guys have had problems with him before. So obviously, if you can ball in Estonia, you can ball anywhere. As it seems to be the TBT rule. But talk about how these guards are going to be filling the Deshaun Bradford's shoes and how you guys are going to be able to do a next man up mentality. Like, where are the guard minutes going to come from?
Yeah, no, I think DeSante's game style is so unique. I think that's why he is the player he is. I don't know there's really much replacing DeSante, but you can game plan differently now, right? I mean, DeSante is one of those guys you can give him the ball and go get a bucket. I'm not saying any of these guards aren't the same way, but these guys are also, type of guys that you can flow a lot more through. But I mean, Jalen Riley is a walking bucket. We've got Lamonte Turner now, absolute stud. Jalen McLeod's going to be hard to stay in front of. You got Mikael Foreman who can shoot the lights out of the ball. Drew Buggs, I mean, no look pass. I mean, the dude's incredible with the ball in his hands. So we've got a lot of different options at that point guard spot. So I think we've got a lot of different things we can do, different schemes we can do with all of those guards.
Now, what I find interesting about your team too, and we always look at these things, and again, thanks to our intern department for doing these stats for us. We have an intern this year, and by intern I mean my father. This is besides the point. He's retired. He's got nothing better to do. But look at these guys as usual, and this goes back to ETSU's sort of deal. Is you're a smaller team in TBT. There's not a lot of size here. You guys are going to be just playing. Is it going to be the same old helter skelter? Let's just take the ball from them before they can post it kind of deal.
Yeah, no, we're gonna be in, we're gonna be all up in people's faces. We're gonna be loud, obnoxious, slapping the floor. We may not be the biggest on paper, but I think we're gonna show that we're a lot bigger on the court. We just got a team full of dogs. Our bigs play a lot bigger than what their size shows. Our small guards, they're gonna be scrappy. It's gonna be a really scrappy team.
Yeah, no, I've seen you guys. I've had the pleasure of seeing you guys last year in Charleston. A great time. You guys play with a lot of energy. That sort of Steve Forbes sort of feel, right? That sort of, right. Yeah. We should get him attached to this somehow in some small way. He doesn't wake now.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's funny. I got him a little. We had a Bucketneers bucket hat, and he sends a selfie. He always reminds us. He took a selfie on the beach when we were playing our first summer with the hat on, and said, "Go give him hell." So, no, Coach Forbes loves this. He's a very big supportive cast for us and all this, and definitely hypes us up and stays in touch during all this.
Now, you and I enjoy drinking in Charleston. Do you know where you can get a drink when you guys win the region in Xavier? I mean, what's there to do in Cincinnati?
I've been a couple times, but what I do know is they have a casino, so I'll try to stay out of there. But they do have a big glass window casino up there, so
Okay.
might have to check that out. But
What's your game? Blackjack, poker? What do you play?
Baccarat's honestly my go-to.
Kidding. All right.
Yep. But blackjack, I love blackjack, just casual talk, but I'm not going to make any money with blackjack.
Well, I think the whole point is you don't make money anywhere. All right, so let's get to the next one here. Now, Fort Wayne, no favors done you. This is a lot of the 4-5s. That's why seeding is so important in TBT, and not the number. The numbers literally mean nothing. It doesn't matter at all. It's just the matchups. Because when you break them down into 8 regions, that 4-5 game is a true 8-9. But the problem is there's a lot of weirdness in the brackets. So, first of all, Fort Wayne is a 5. If you guys are underseeded, is it a good case that Fort Wayne probably is too?
No, I don't know if I would have seeded that group of Xavier group like they did, but I mean we're always, I mean, my thing is if it's a good team, we're going to see them eventually, especially in our region, right? So I mean, if we think Fort Wayne's a top 2 or 3 team, and we're going to see them eventually because they're going to take care of business as well. So, and you think in all the other regions too, I think this is a competitive region, but I honestly don't think it's near as competitive as some of the other regions. So, we're pretty happy with what we have. Fort Wayne's going to be an incredible team, and it's always, that first game is the most important to us. So we're going to be ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting. They have 11 TBT wins in their history. They've been a long-time staple. You guys are an alumni team, which means you guys have a shared sort of history. They're not. So what's the advantage or disadvantage you think of being an alumni team? Is it that they don't have this shared experience, but maybe they just can recruit from a wider talent pool?
Yeah, so, I mean, we've got a lot of camaraderie with our guys. The returning guys, our 4 returning guys didn't play college ball together, but last summer, I mean, they're bonded. We're in a group message. We text, weekly, even in the off season. All of our coaches all play together. So we've got a core coaching group that all play together, and some of them even played with some of our players. So we've got a tight little group, and those ETSU guys those guys on our team that aren't alum are good friends with our alums. So Mikael Foreman's a local guy, so we've got some local talent that didn't go to ETSU. Jordan Bowden, also a local guy out of Knoxville. So all of us, local East Tennessee guys kind of know him as well. And then we kind of, did the buddy system, and a bunch of those guys had a couple of guys that wanted to come play in TBT, and we had a list of about 30 of them, and we narrowed it down to who we thought would be the best fit for our guys, and we're really loving our roster.
Yeah, it's really weird to get a roster in TBT because there's so much flex with the summer league and all these guys, coming in or out. So it's tough. You see a guy like Gilbeck with size and Walters and guys with some real size. So you have to speed these guys up, right? That's kind of be how you win, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's just the way I think ETSU tends to play. Okay, the other half of the bracket, we've got the money team versus the unofficial co-host, the Nasty Natty. Floyd Mayweather fronts the team. I mean, I don't know how involved he is, but this is under his name, so I assume so. We'll just call them what they are. This team, it always seems like it has a mercenary feel. These guys are just here. They're kind of thrown together. But the talent does win out. And you look at guys like Crawford and Ledbetter, that's just a lot of bucket getters on this team, aren't there?
Yes, absolutely. No, they got some big names, but I'll be honest, I don't know how many times teams that had really, pretty big names really went that far in the tournament. So the big names really don't scare us.
I mean, they've got 5 wins. So they're not nothing, but you guys have more than that in fewer runs. So, I mean, 5-3 is beat by 6-2. So it's interesting to see. Yeah. I remember watching them in Columbus a couple of years ago. This team usually is pretty good. Crawford's a bucket, but you do look at some of these guys, like is the age going to start catching up with them? Is Ledbetter going to catch up a little bit on age? Like, is the age going to start to be an issue for those teams? Kind of what I'm wondering. Especially for a team that can speed them up like you guys.
Right.
Yeah. Got these guys. And, of course, we've also got Nasty Natty. Now, you don't really know a lot about this team yet, right? Like the other side of the bracket. This is still something you're kind of getting to, right?
Correct. Yeah, we haven't looked much into them. Obviously, they're in Cincinnati, so they definitely got more of an advantage than some of us other teams. So that's definitely going to help them out. And I mean, they've got a talented roster as well. So, I mean, like I said, we've got a competitive little region here. And you got Cincinnati and Xavier that's got the home court advantage.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, looking at this real quick, as a guy who really hates Cincinnati, I mean, if you're a Memphis fan like me, they're probably one of your least favorite teams. And frankly, while they should have gotten into the Big 12, so should we have us. So it's very annoying. But look at this roster. Never mind who's a great pro now. All I know is Jaron Cumberland destroyed Memphis every chance he got. He is an absolute bucket. He's playing in a Mexican league, putting up 21 a game. And I don't think it's even the top league in Mexico, but he's still a scorer. So that's the kind of guy you wonder about. Jake Evans has G League experience. He got some pretty good players on this roster. So as a 6 seed, they might be a pretty dangerous team. And I wonder if the crowd being behind them, since he can sell their allotment, I know Xavier's whole goal is to sell as many as possible to their own fans to keep the Cincy fans out. So if you're watching the show, by the way, and you're a Xavier fan, buy the tickets now to keep them out of your gym. You don't want to have a bunch of Cincy fans propelling them into a crosstown shootout. Have you ever watched a Cincy Xavier game?
I actually haven't. I personally haven't. We played Xavier. We went up there. Our was it 2017, 18? No, it was 2018 season. And Xavier's like ranked second in the nation. We went up there and we're up like, I think 16, 20 points with 4 minutes to go. I mean, they're the number 2 team in the nation. You know, we're ready to upset them, and they actually end up coming back and beating us. It was still gives us all nightmares to this day. But we played Jim and Xavier, and a lot of those same guys on this Xavier roster are on that team that we played. So,
yeah, I mean, maybe you guys get some revenge in the final if you get there. I will say this Cincy team, the Cincy Xavier games, and there's lots of rivalries in sport. Every school has them, but like there's an undercurrent of violence. Like there's been fights in these games before. So it's always kind of, I think TBT would be well if the Natty and Zip get to play in the second round. It'd be pretty funny. I think that'd be a pretty entertaining thing. Plus, since he's known to play physical, but there's a lot of physical teams in this region, actually. I know Autism plays physical because of their size and their attitude. You guys are physical. Fort Wayne's physical. Natty's physical. There's a lot of physicality in this region. Our last matchup, we're almost done here. We got the Zip 'em Up, the host team, very good against the Beasley winners, the Georgia Kings, as the 7th seed. Getting into the Zip 'em Up team, obviously they have 3 now wins and 2 runs, which isn't bad. They're getting a win a year. I saw them in Columbus one year, obviously, and now they all have been a host the last 2 years. They packed the Cintas Center. This is a really nice roster. And the thing, we also have some bonus content. We actually interviewed the GM, Jason Meyer. We have some bonus content we'll release after this. But look at this roster. I assume you haven't started thinking too much about this in advance, but a lot of these guys were on that team you almost upset?
Yeah, I think Blewett was there. Of course, JP was there. Cantor was there. And I think a couple of other ones. So, I mean, yeah, some of their main cats, we've already faced them and should have taken care of business, so we definitely have some revenge. Jalen McLeod on our team, starting point guard. I think he had like 20, 25 against them. He'll be back out there, so he's got some revenge to give as well.
Yeah, it's interesting to look at this roster too, because like there's a couple things that stand out. One is we talked to Jason Meyer about this, and JP McCure is first team all DP shit talker. Like he is a walking trash talker, which is always pretty entertaining for the fans. But also picking up Remy Abel, Sideline Cancer's undergone some roster churn this year. They've kind of moved on from some of their veterans. I also know that Mo Creek is playing for Shell Shock, the Maryland alums. Seeing Remy go back home to play for Xavier gives them somebody who's made a final in TBT as a veteran off the bench they can use to help out. Is it interesting to have a guy who's gone that deep in TBT with a relatively young squad to help them? You think that's something that a guy like Abel provides benefit to as sort of an old hand at this?
Absolutely. That's what we had Courtney Pegram, who was a part of Carmen's crew when they won it back in 2018. And
champion, yeah.
Yep, he's won it. So the past 2 summers, us having him was huge. And I think he's kind of passed the torch to like Isaac Banks, who's a older guy. This will be his 3rd year. He's been with us every year. And having a guy on the team that has been there, done that, knows what it takes was huge, having Courtney Pegram on our team.
Definitely. This would be a pretty fun team to watch here, I think. And the last team in the region, the Georgia Kings. Now, they won the Beasley. And people who don't watch the show often, or people who don't understand how this works, oh, God, why am I going on his name? Mr. Beasley down in Georgia, he's a former NFL player. And what ends up happening is he hosts a tournament where he basically, you get in, and if you win it, he will get you the TBT spot. So every year he has a tournament for his charity where teams play. And this year the Georgia Kings were the winners. So they will be the representative of the Beasley tournament in this. And this is their second berth. They lost the first time. But having had to win a cash tournament to get in, like basically having to win a tournament to get in the tournament, does that make them a little more dangerous as far as a battle-tested group?
I would think so. You know what I mean? Especially if they've got to keep that same roster that they played in that tournament as well. I think it's only going to help. It's not going to hurt anything, but by any means.
Yeah, it's always pretty interesting to see the Beasley. I don't think that Beasley's teams have really won one yet. Maybe I'm wrong, but one of these years is going to happen. Probably not this year because they're playing on the road. But, hey, if the Georgia Kings are watching, I didn't pick you, so feel free to use that for some bulletin board material. And speaking of picks, let's just get to this point. Let's start making some people mad. We have the pick list. Dillon, let's see if me and Charge are right or wrong. Let's see what we picked.
All right.
Oh, yeah, we didn't pick you at all. Yeah, so you can feel free to.
Oh, boy.
We can show your team that. Yeah, we just didn't. No love for the Buccaneers. None.
Well, Hannah, just like our first summer, we barely made the cut in the tournament. They had us at a 12 seed, War Eagle. Oh, so much better team within the first half. Hey, within the first half, we proved our point.
You invoked War Eagle. That's hilarious.
So we beat them by 30 plus. And then
I was there. That was insane. Right after that,
what did we do to Armored Athlete? 20 plus. So we love the extra motivation. So I'm really glad. I'm glad you guys didn't pick us.
We're happy to help you. And that was actually the toughest game, obviously, the first round to call, because that's going to be an absolute nightmare of a game.
Yeah, it'll be.
But yeah, since people who can't see the picks who are listening to the podcast, Charge goes in a crazy upset: 8 seed DRC, 5 seed Fort Wayne, 3 seed Money, 2 seed Zip, with Money winning the regional championship. I go 1 seed Autism, 5 seed Fort Wayne, 6 seed Natty, just as I want to see the game. I'm not even sure it's going to happen. 2 seed Zip, with the program, the Autism 1 seed being my regional championship pick. So having seen these picks now, can you just clip this and show it to your team just so they're mad at us?
Yeah, let me do that. Let's see if I can.
Let's just see. I'll send you a screenshot. Just take a camera so you can just show it to your team and just use it for motivation. Perfect. Excellent. That's a service we provide.
I love it.
Is motivation for people. Okay, so look, we've talked about the bracket here. We've talked about what's going on. So what excites you the most about this run for you guys, you think?
Say that again, Hannah.
What excites you the most about this run? Like what are you looking forward to most in this run?
I think it's exactly what you and Charge just showed. I mean, I really think a lot of people are counting us out. I think TBT counted us out with the seeding. I think you guys are counting us out. I think a lot of people are counting us out. Some of our fans, we don't have as many of the alumni guys back. So you just go down the checklist, and I think a lot of people are counting us out.
So the chip on the shoulder is like this big now.
Oh man, we love it. But that's just this group of guys is just built on just we've always been kind of counted out. It's a bunch of dogs who kind of love this type of stuff. So we eat this stuff up. So I'd say the biggest, we're very excited to prove people wrong yet again, like we did in our first summer.
Well, from your lips to God ears, that first round game is going to be epic, and the winner's got a legit chance to get out of that region. Whoever wins that game is very alive to get to Philadelphia. Dillon, thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, I do it anytime. Love your guys' stuff, and I'm excited. We're a couple weeks away.
Can't wait. Okay, this has been ZoomTheTBT signing off.
Hope you enjoyed listening to ZoomTheTBT with Charge and Hainer. Subscribe to YouTube, follow on Twitter, and give us your money.